Okay, hello. My name is Eric Quiros, and this is my project. Um, I guess the first thing I'll do is take you through the whole thing, a quick little rundown of what I have here. So basically, this is the main menu. I know I kept it kind of true to what the professor had. Um, so basically, like the dimensions of the windows and things like that, I kept the same because it worked for me, and I didn't think it needed to be changed, so I kept it like that. Um, This is the main menu. So here, I know it looks a little off, but I'll show you what it looks like right now. It's basically just a title that says soccer teams, which is what you're looking for. A background image. It's an image from one of the many competitions in the sport. Then you have a search, an add a team, an edit team, and an exit button. Uh, this is basically what you're prompted to at the very beginning. This appears center screen, nothing else. Basically, that's it for this screen here. And I'll show you the way that everything looks, and then I'll show you the code. So over here on the right side, I have my pictures inside the resources folder, and basically it's just four of them, four of the background images. After the main menu, I guess we can go to search, which is this, and it's kind of hard to see here. And I did it this way so that the colors would pop more when I put them onto, like when you actually see it, you'll see what it is. So basically, it's title, which says team lookup, and then there's seven labels, which the first one is where you enter the team ID. The second one says team name, city, state, stadium name, contact number, and youth team. And this label over here is what's going to prompt you. It's a text box that's going to prompt you to enter the team ID number, which is basically a capital S, T, and then followed by 00, whatever the number is. Then the team name will appear, the city will appear, the state, the stadium name, the contact number, and the youth team is whether yes or no they have one. This has a search button which you click, and upon that click is when this number is registered and data is retrieved from the database. Clear is to clear all the entries and try again, and main menu takes you all the way back. Like I said, I'll show you the whole run through in a little bit. And then after that, I guess you can go to insert team, and insert team is a little easier to see. It's simpler. I mean, all you do is enter each entry on its own. So you enter a team ID, you enter a name, a team name, you enter a city, a stadium name, a contact number, and you just choose whether it's yes or no, whether or not they have a youth team, and then insert team, and then that'll appear on the database. Also, there's a main menu button, and then there's a picture. And finally, there's an edit, and this is also kind of hard to see, but basically the same thing. It's an edit team, and shows you of course, what the window's for. You have a team ID that will appear, a team name, a city, state, stadium name, contact number, and youth team. And then you just click here to search for the team. It'll come up here, all the information, and then you can just change it, and then you save the edit and main menu button. So before I show you the code, I'll just show you a quick, I'll show you the code first, and then I'll show you a rundown, and then we can go through each one and actually perform a task. So I guess we'll start with main menu. Main menu is pretty easy, pretty simple. Like I have the comments here, but I won't read them. It's basically just first you have to open up the main menu form, and then you have one button for search, a button for exit, a button for add team, and a button for edit. This is, I guess I say here, I think this is a mistake. I think I just double clicked the picture box, but I just left it there. And then this label here allows the title to be transparent, because I don't know, this VB has some weird thing that doesn't allow it immediately, so you have to add this in to make the picture transparent. The label is transparent so that the picture shows through. And basically, this is each time you click one of these buttons, it's basically going to pull up the form that goes with each one. So for the search, you pull up the search form. For the exit, you just close the program. For the add team, you pull up the insert team form. For the edit team, you pull up the edit team form. And that's all there is to the menu code. Like I said, I kept it pretty close to what the professor had, but I mean, it works, and I understand the concept, and I understand why each thing does what it does. I mean, here it's just button, exit, click. So it's every time you click the button, and then it shows you what it does. So it just closes the application here. It basically just pulls up the insert. It pulls up the other window, and then it just hides the other. Okay. quickly going on to the next thing, which is a search code. This is the most complicated one because I think I overcomplicated it. But basically, this is it starts appearing. It just imports the data from the data. This is what you need the reference for, so that it can import data. And then, um, uh, basically, this here is what the professor gave us, and I kept it the same. So I kept the same variables and things like that because I mean, it's Oracle databases means the same thing. So basically, you open up the database with the host here that he gave us, and then you use your unique password and whatever. Probably shouldn't be showing you that, but I think it's just for the professor. But it doesn't really matter. Um, and then you just you make the connection its own variable, so it can be pulled up anytime. So then you here on the search, when you click the search button to search, and basically this is what's going to come up. It's just going to come up with the team ID, and it's going to select all the things. So then it's just going to load up from the search form. You're going to have the text ID, and it's going to focus there. This is just every single time you press that button, this is what's going to happen. So this happens. So it sets the focus, and then all this is just so that the labels look transparent. Same thing I did before. And then this is the main menu button. Basically, it just takes you back to the form main menu, and it closes this one. And then this is what happens when you click the actual search button after you've typed something in. Basically, you every single time. I made this into different ones. I think you could have condensed it into one, like I said, up here in the comments. But I just did it individually. Basically, you name a variable, and that's the variable that's going to be taken in. So here, you're just going to open up the connection, and you're going to bring in the string. You're going to set this SQL as a string to bring in this comment from SQL. So basically, you're just bringing in the team name and then saving it into the string that we set at the beginning. This is just to pull up the position and saving it. I use these names here just to reference each thing. So this is team name, and then you set the label equal to whatever the string, whatever we just pulled up from the thing. We set the label equal to that it can show through onto the program, and the connection gets closed, and then you set the focus back to team ID. And this is the same thing for the rest of them. So it's the same thing for city. It's basically the same thing. You're pulling up the data, and you're saving it onto that variable, and then showing it on the label. Same thing for state. Same thing for stadium name. Same thing again. Select the data wherever that team ID is, whatever depending on whatever the team ID is, and then you input it. Give it back to the variable we set, and then you set the label equal to that. And then same thing for contact, and the same thing for UT. Down here is where the clear button comes into play. It just basically clears every field. I just made it like this simple. I didn't have to clear whatever. It's just nothing's going to show there, and then you set back the focus to team ID. Okay, and then we go back to, I guess we'll go to edit team, the code. Use same thing. So you open up the database. All this is opening the database, and then here you set a string equal to team ID, and then this is just the button for main menu to go back, and then this is the button to search and edit, basically, so you can search a team to edit the team itself. So then this is basically where the string gets stored for the input that the user does for the team. And again, you use the SQL command, and you basically bring in all the information that you need for that specific team ID. And then here you get the position of each one. So this is the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And then you enable all the text boxes to true, so that you're able to actually edit on them. And then you close the connection, and you set the focus back. And then you type in whatever you need to type. You make your adjustments, and then you make every time you click the save button, this is going to happen. So basically, everything's going to get set back to nothing. So actually, here it's just declaring a variable, so we can save things into it and save it as a correct data type. And then here we are. It's just basically setting each variable we created to the text box and setting it to the correct data type. I got lucky with this table. I chose the one that had the most basic information. It's all strings, but some of them have to be declared into decimals or anything else. And yeah, and then here you're just basically overriding the information. So you're setting each team ID equal to each other, or each team name. Every string of information is set equal to each other, so that you can then again go ahead and edit. So you're basically just overwriting information. And this is the same thing. You're just setting each back into each position, and this is the actual code. The red part is the actual code on SQL, and this is the information we set here. The black one is the one we set here. And then, of course, this is what I was talking about back when you when you press the save button, everything gets cleared. This is nothing shows up, and then this is set to index, which I think is the 0 position is yes, and then all the text boxes are disabled, so they're all set to false. And then this is what shows up if you enter something that's supposed to be not null, and you enter something and you don't enter something. This is what will show up. And then you close the connection, you set the focus back, and then again, this is just to these labels and the picture boxes are just here to allow the labels to show through. The insert code, it's basically the same thing. So this whole top part is the same thing. You open up the connection, there's a main menu button, and then every time you click add team, you're gonna have to set a variable equal to that so you can save it back into the database. Again, each thing you typed in gets saved to the correct data type from the text box into this variable. Same thing goes here. You insert it using the SQL command, and the red part is the SQL part, and then this is this part we have saved with the data that you inputted. And then at the same time, all this goes on in the background. The text box is cleared again, and this gets set back to zero, which is yes. And this is again the error code that happens when you don't put something correctly, and then your focus is set back. And when you click add team, when the add team loads, also the the youth team section, which is low drop down menu, gets set back to 0, which is basically yes, like I said. Now I'll actually show you how the program runs. Like I said, here it looks a lot better. It doesn't look like all white like the example does, because I had to do that so that the project actually would show through like this. So basically, you go to search and you type in information. So capital ST002, for example, search, and it pulls up the information. So team name Manchester United, city Manchester, state California, which I made up because I don't know how states work exactly in Europe, so I just made it simple. Stadium name is Old Trafford, contact number, and then youth team, which do they have one? Yes, they do. And you click clear to clear everything. It sets back the focus, and then you type in another one, 004, search something, and then it says Manchester City. I'll just type in another one because they're so similar. So 005, Tottenham Hotspur. So the information changes obviously, and then clear to clear it, main menu to go back, add team. Now before I add a team, let me just pull up SQL itself. I'm doing this so you can actually see that it's working and that I'm actually adding something to it. Okay, and I'm just gonna add a team ID here. It's gonna be 00, actually 17, because I think I've added enough teams already. I'm just gonna put this as an example. And then this is example city example. Oh, okay, I forgot. It's city. I made every single thing only available to the same amount of characters that are available in SQL. That way you can type something that's not allowed. So this is example city. Stadium name is stadium example. And then we'll just give it a random number. So 888-945-956 7698. And do they have a youth team? Let's just put no. And over here in SQL, I'll show you my soccer teams table. Takes a while. Okay, so here it is. We have 16 teams as of right now, and once I click insert team, it clears it, and then once I run this again, it's in there, you see? So 17, example, example city, stadium example, everything's in there. Now let's just edit that record. So you go back to main menu, and you edit the team. Let's see, you have to search it down here, and then you edit the team you edit the team ID, so SP017. Okay, it brings up all the information. Let's say they do have a youth team, and they're actually called example team, and let's just change all these to 8 so it's easier to see the difference. Okay, and you click save edit. It just blanks it out and it doesn't allow you to click anything anymore. We go back to SQL, we run this command again to click, and then here you see example team, it changed, and then 88888, everything changed, and they do have a youth team now, so everything works. I think that this is pretty much all I had to do with this. I mean, the hardest thing was because the professor gave us most of the information for bringing in the database. That was probably the hardest thing if I had not known, if he had not helped us out with that. But other than that, basically setting these pictures, it kind of gave me a little bit of trouble, like finding out how to get these labels to show through. Um, but I thought it was pretty clever how you could bring in the Oracle database and just edit it from here. I thought that was really intuitive because I remember back in the beginning of the class, I had set that the best thing that would make it simple was to add like an interface to it, so it wouldn't have to be commands. But this is just clicking buttons and just doing it from a more, I guess, traditional like GUI type system instead of like a line system, since we're so used to that. So I think this is really cool. I did enjoy doing this. It was pretty fun, and I think that it would help me with making things on my own in the future with any little kind of project like this. If I could do something different, it'd probably, I don't know, I'd clean it up a little. I mean, I think I changed the colors and the boxes to resemble the backgrounds, but I think I could do a little bit better. And if anything, make it so that if I could add something, I'd basically make it so you could edit multiple things at once, not just one. But of course, that's it's probably a little more complicated. But yeah, I think that's all I have to show here. I'll show you how the exit button works. Basically, just you click exit and it closes everything out. So yeah, I'll just show you the program running one more time, and then that'll be it. Liverpool, there you go. Clear it, main menu, add team, it gives you the add team, main menu, edit team. And that's basically it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was a little informative onto the insights of how I made this. Thank you.